Alright, Gordon, just another minute until we leave. Indeed. I will say that having Thomas and Percy here at Knapford is quite a comfortable setting on the main line. I am finally relieved of having to shunt my own coaches, which is not a job suited for a big engine like me, I will say. Oh no, not this again. I beg your pardon, Arnold. You heard me. Stop blubbering about how undignified it is for big engines to shunt their own coaches. It's getting annoying. My grievances shall not be ignored, even if they are annoying. Why are you so bothered by it in the first place? If you can move 130 kilometers an hour, you can surely move coaches a small distance, can't you? Because it takes away my time to rest. If I am to travel from one side of the island to another, I am required to have 6 hours of rest at the very least to be at my full potential. Shunting my own trains requires me to be up even earlier, not to mention all that backwards and forwards driving I have to constantly do is sure to affect my performance later to come. Maybe you should carry a post train, so you could really understand how much you value sleep. Thomas and Percy volunteer to do those trains because they have too much energy. They don't have to pull heavy trains along the main line like we all do. Obviously not, Gordon. They're not as big as you, so of course they can't pull heavy trains. For their size, they work just as hard as you do. Or even harder, I reckon. Maybe I should put Thomas on the back of my train one day while he's sleeping. Maybe he will understand what true hard work is after that. I don't think that's very practical, though, boy. Well, you know what that means. Wait, Gordon, stop! Gordon was shocked when he heard the Fat Controller and applied his brakes as soon as he could. Whoa, Sir Topham, what's going on? Is there any more space on the express? Yes, sir, the back row on the 7th coach. Why? Perfect. I'm off to the mainland.
I'm sure he'll explain once we get to Vickerstown, Gordon. Just continue on.
Alright, if you insist, Gordon said. And he puffed off to Vickerstown. Thank you for getting us here on time, Gordon. Sorry for causing a ruckus at Knapford. It's no problem, sir. But I must ask, why are you so urgent to get to England? Well, my wife is having a family reunion at East Anglia, and I have also received word that a tramway positioned in the city is closing down. Tramway engines are all fitted with cowcatchers and side plates, so we can finally have a solution to reopen the operations on the Farquhar branch line. Oh, that is very good news, sir. But that also means that Thomas and Percy are not going to be working at Knapford anytime soon.
Well, yes, but you big engines can shunt your own trains, no?
Well, yes, Miss Hat, but the thing is, Gordon's just worried he's going to be losing his beauty sleep. That is not true, sir. I would never be so lazy. Well, Gordon's still complaining about his beauty sleep, I see. Oh no, not you.
Indeed, Gordon, you can never truly be rid of him.
Is this your friend, Gordon? Calling him a friend is quite a stretch, sir. More like a thorn on my side that I thought I plucked out years ago.
Gordon is only jealous of my growing status on the mainland, sir.
Is this true, Gordon? Ha! What have I to be envious of a prat like you?
Maybe because Sir Nigel asked me to pull the royal train a few months ago before he left.
The royal train, you say?
Yes, indeed, sir. His Majesty, King George VI himself. And the royal family, of course.
The Hats were impressed by Alfred's past history, but Gordon was getting very jealous. If you're done boasting, Alfred, can you kindly move on with your express?
Now, Gordon, I can't be so urgent to leave, not when I have 2 very important passengers to take to England as well.
Huh! And who would those 2 poor souls be? They would be us, Gordon. I will speak with you when I get back. Oh, bother.
Good show, Gordon. I would stick around, but I have to get going. I surely can't make the passengers late. See you around!
5 years later, and he's still the same old Alfred. I guess some people just never change. I'm so sorry about this, old boy, but there's no other choice. It has to happen.
No, sir. It's quite alright. I understand that money is lacking in today's world.
I know, but it's just not right to leave you here after you've worked so hard all your life.
It's probably for the best, sir. I'm too old to be working alongside today's newer engines.
Rubbish! You haven't aged a day since you've arrived on this tramway.
Thank you for your kind words of encouragement, Marcus. I will never forget them for whatever is left of my life.
They are only the truest words I've ever had, Toby.
Well, let's make this the best run I've had in my life.
The Wisbech and Upwell Tramway was a small tramway that stretched through the little town of East Anglia. It was built in the 1880s to serve as the local transport for residents and farms up and down the town, and Toby was the lone engine who worked this line. The reason why the tramway was positioned going through the town was because road vehicles were an extreme rarity at all since the time, and its residents were very, very poor, and cars were not in high demand, so Toby was the best form of transport at first. But as time went on, more and more people started to own cars and road vehicles to get to their destinations, and when Henry Ford invented the assembly line, it was already over. Passengers and freight trains got so incredibly low that the tramway's owner, Marcus Phillips, could only file for bankruptcy. Normally when a railway closes down, the engines on the railway can move to another railway if the option is available. But Toby at that point was 50 years old, which for a locomotive is very old. Nobody wanted to buy an engine that was old and in desperate need of an overhaul. And when the Depression fell, the problems of the railway increased tenfold. The only faithful businesses to the tramway closed down due to lack of money. It was only inevitable that the tramway would close down. Toby was carrying out his final passenger service of the last day with his favorite coach, Henrietta. Now, despite Henrietta not being a sentient coach, for example, such as Annie or Claravel, Toby was attached to this coach in a weird way. He pulled into the station with Henrietta one last time to pick up the final group of passengers. There was a pretty big group of people at the station waiting for Toby, which made him very happy. And a particular stout gentleman amongst the crowd walked up to Toby.
Good afternoon there, sir.
Good afternoon, dear engine. May I ask you what your name is?
My name is Toby, sir. What is yours?
I am Sir Charles Topham Hatt, the owner of the South Western Railway on Sodor, but you can call me Charlie if you wish. I came here to give mine and my family a wonderful trip for our family reunion.
Well, sir, you arrived just on time. This is my last trip of the day and of my life.
Well, let's make it the best trip that you've ever had, Toby. Toby was most surprised at the gentleman's manners. No one, save his crew and the owner, showed him such respect. Mr. and Mrs. Hatt's family all rode aboard Henrietta, whilst the Fat Controller and Mrs. Hatt rode aboard Toby's cab, instead to look over Toby's controls and boiler better. As Toby was driving down the little tramway for the very last time, the Fat Controller and Mrs. Hatt were inspecting him and asking him some multiple questions about his performance and history. I do say, Toby, for being a tram engine, you have lots of knowledge about railroads.
Well, sir, this tramway used to be filled with various different industries that opened and closed throughout the years. And being that I am the only engine on this tramway, I always had to shunt my own coaches and trucks all the time.
Indeed. Your experience cannot be questioned, Toby. But I must say, I was taking a look at your boiler pressure, and for a slow-paced engine, your boiler pressure is rather high.
Oh, that.
You knew about this, Toby.
I did, sir, but it's been very difficult to get proper maintenance since it's hard to find good money nowadays. My owner could not afford a single penny on where it wasn't necessary.
But the condition and welfare of your employees is always necessary. If you don't treat your employees with respect and acknowledge them as such, your business will not succeed.
When was the last time you were thoroughly maintained, Toby? I tell you if I remembered, ma'am, but I just don't. But it's of no concern anymore. I'll just be put in a shed for good. I won't be a burden to anyone anymore.
Poppycock, you may not be in the greatest condition of all time, but experience can go a very long way. You'd be a fine engine to have on a railway.
I appreciate your kind words, sir. No passengers have ever shown me this much respect when they board Henrietta. Well, we are honored to be the first couple to do so, Toby.
A little while later, the group reached the last station on the tramway, where there was balloons, a little party set up, and a big banner that said "Bye Bye Toby" above the tracks for the tramway's last day. A smile beamed across Toby's face when he saw the station crowded with the tramway's most faithful passengers, and the owner waiting for Toby as he stopped at the station for the last time.
Well, Marcus, you were planning a surprise party this whole time?
Not me, Toby. The mayor of East Anglia wanted to hold this party for us as a means of gratitude. I couldn't afford something like this.
Wait, the mayor of the town held this?
That's right, Toby. I would be a monster not to acknowledge and appreciate the hard work you've done for the past 50 years. Your effort and work, Toby, is the reason why my town managed to get its citizens off the ground.
With respect, sir, the citizens of the town are all riding in cars instead of using the tramway.
Maybe so, Toby. But when there weren't cars, you were my town's ultimate form of transport. And I can't thank you enough for all your hard work these past few years. You should be very proud of your engine, Marcus. I second that. Your engine is a true charm to ride on. Sir Topham Hatt. Hello, Nigel. It's wonderful to see you again. And you too, Charlie. Wait, sir, you know who this man is? Of course I do. This is Sir Topham Hatt, the owner of the Southwestern Railway on the island of Sodor. Yes, that is me. I was just telling Marcus that I am very impressed with your engine here. Out of all the engines I own, few of them have as much experience or as much charm as your tram engine, sir.
Thank you, sir. Out of all the passengers I've pulled over the years, hardly any have been as acknowledging, kind, and respectful as you have been, as well as your wife.
Thank you, Toby. We are glad to have been some of the few passengers that show you respect.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And you too, Sir Topham.
Soon after, the Hats said their goodbyes to Toby, and then the rest of the townspeople, then the mayor, and then the owner. And then after that, Toby was sent to his shed to be locked away and rest for one last time. When Toby got to his shed, his crew were trying to hold back their tears while saying their farewells.
Well, old boy, I'd be lying if I said our time together on this line hasn't been a fun one.
And it's thanks to this tramway and Marcus that I was able to feed my family and kids and put them into school. Now in the time when it needs help the most, I can't do anything to help it.
You don't owe me or Marcus anything, you two. You did your job on this railway, and you did them well. I was proud to call you my lads, my co-workers, and my friends.
Couldn't have put it better myself, old boy. Well, I guess this is goodbye, Toby. I will miss you.
Don't cry for me, you two. I'll be fine in this shed out of the elements. You just need to move on. Goodbye, you two.
Goodbye, Toby. Don't close those doors! Everyone was shocked when they heard the Fat Controller. What's going on? Toby, your time of working is not over. I have spoken with your owner, and I have just purchased your employment to work on my railway.
What? Are you taking the mickey out of me, sir?
No joke, Toby. But sir, why did you choose to buy him? The Fat Controller then went on to explain the cowcatcher crisis that was going on the Farquhar branch line.
That is rather odd. But I would be more than willing to join your railway, Sir Topham.
Just give me your consent, and you will go now. Have you heard anything from the Fat Controller, Percy?
Not a word, lad. I don't know why he decided to go to England at a time like this.
Yeah, that was odd. But that's not what I'm worried about. Today is the last day of the week. If the Fat Controller doesn't come back with an engine that has cowcatchers, we'll have to wear cowcatchers ourselves for the rest of our lives.
Fucking, you don't have to whine so much about that.
What?
Will you stop whining about how undignified it is for engines to wear those things? You sound like Gordon sometimes the way you go on about it.
It is undignified for engines like us to wear those things, Percy. We're tank engines, not tram engines.
Aye, and what about tram engines? They have to wear those things all the time. Are they undignified?
Tram engines are the only ones who actually look good with those things, Percy. At least it kind of fits their square bodies. It could be worse. At least it wouldn't shut down operations entirely. I know, but I doubt any of the big engines would ever let up me wearing those ugly things on my buffers. It's like the train equivalent of wearing a skirt. Well, I don't quite see it that way. What the? Who are you? I'm Toby, your new tram engine. A new tram engine? Does this mean the Fat Controller? Yes, indeed, Percy. Thomas, Percy, this is Toby. He is a tram engine built with side plates and cow catchers. So now we are able to continue work on the Farquhar branch line without breaking the law. That confounded officer. Now, Thomas, the law does exist for a reason. I speak from experience that wearing cow catchers is indeed important on a branch line such as yours. You're lucky that you only need one tram engine to continue operations there. Oh, was it a bad experience, Toby? Yes, but one that I'm sure Toby would like to explain later. For now, we need to head to the branch line right away. I'm sure there will be plenty of material and goods to move on the branch line after the entire week's pack up, so we need to get moving. The three engines couldn't agree faster as they set off to the Farquhar branch line. For the next few months, the three engines were working hard on the branch line, pushing trains full of lumber, stone, cattle, and passengers up and down the branch line. Toby made himself very comfortable on the branch line. Everyone warmly welcomed him, and he made himself a very useful engine right from the start. His experience and knowledge went a long way, even if he couldn't pull that many trucks. Some of the engines, or some more than others, would tease Toby on occasion, but he didn't let it get to his head. Well, at least most of the time. Toby wasn't just a welcome engine to the branch line, but to Sodor as well. But what about Constable Swanson, I hear you asking? Well, he and Mr. McCall found themselves in some really deep trouble. After the Farquhar PD had an arrangement with Parliament, an investigation was launched as it was revealed that the legal documents that the Farquhar PD received were not the correct ones. The original legal documents that they had received had all been replaced with a bunch of forged documents. This was revealed when the attorneys put the forged documents next to the actual documents of Parliament side by side. This unknown forger managed to bribe Constable Swanson into replacing the legal documents. As being a police officer, he was one of the only people who actually could get access to them. And this person also paid Farmer McCall to go along with the plot. Unfortunately, their benefactor was never caught, or rather, was never caught yet. However, that didn't stop the police from arresting the two men under a number of charges, such as forgery, conspiracy to commit fraud, and especially bribery for Constable Swanson, who was relieved from his duties and kicked out of the police department. Needless to say, things only got downhill from there for Constable Swanson, but unfortunately, that wouldn't be the last time we saw him. But that's for another day. McCall was also arrested under a number of nearly the same charges as Constable Swanson, and he also had his cattle farm removed after this incident. And from there, he just became homeless and became a street bum that was on the side of the roads asking for change. It serves you right, most would say as they passed by him. The Farquhar Police Department did a good job in hiring a new officer. This one's name was Constable Wiggum. His presence put the branch line at a much more calm perspective. After this whole fiasco, things remained relatively peaceful on the island for a few months after, until one particular incident with some rather small engines. But I'll save that for next time.